I did not think they would start so quick. Normally they never start so quick. That's crazy. Look at Max C. I forgive you, mate. I forgive you. I love you. Thank you. You know where it went wrong last week, guys? I have to move my camera, actually, by the way. WTL, we use a different camera than... Last week, I was not wearing my captain band. Armband? How do you call this? This is just an armband? Maybe that's where it went wrong. Last season before, we always rock the captain armband. We didn't do it this time around last week. Maybe that's why we lost. No, Reynor. We are very happy. Let's do it!
Let's get it on!
Basilisk plus ShoWTimE versus DKZ Gaming. This will not be a neutral stream. Did we just draw first blood?
First blood!
We're flying today. Alright, GG's guys, wrap it up. ShoWTimE, his probe is built different. ShoWTimE is of course the red Protoss in the top side of the map. Jieshi is our blue Protoss in the bottom side of the map. Jieshi, by the way, believe it or not, guys, does not use any hotkeys at all. I know you guys have probably studied all these YouTube videos on how to get better at Starcraft 2. And everybody tells you to do this, that, everything. Meanwhile, Jieshi doesn't group anything. I don't know if he uses camera hotkeys. I'm actually kind of curious about it. But he does not use any army hotkeys. The man refuses to group a single unit. And he's really good. He competes in the ESL Spring Asia Regionals. Has taken out some of the best players in the world. One of the finer Protoss players that China has to offer. And the man doesn't hotkey anything. He has one hotkey? Ooh. I am not making this up, by the way. It is true. All the pros have been talking about it. ShoWTimE went 1-1 last week on his debut in WTL Codes versus Christianer. I don't think he played bad. Christianer just played damn good, to be fair. I actually really like this draw for us, though. I believe that D-Mauer gets a lot of PvP practice. And I am kind of confident in this one. We have learned last week that we can never count ourselves rich before we are actually rich. Something along the lines of don't count your chickens until they hatch. But I have a lot of faith in D-Mauer. I don't think he uses anything, Flames of West. I think he just clicks some buttons, mate. Nah, he probably uses his keyboard to build stuff. Otherwise, it's impossible to play. I build Immortals while clicking on the icon. Because I haven't changed a single hotkey. And the eye is so far away, guys. So. First Oracle does get deflected. Good unit positioning there by Jieshi. But ShoWTimE already has very quick blink on the way. Jieshi is the one who's up 5 workers. It's a little bit tricky, by the way. It's Jieshi who has blink on the way. It's PvP, but the guy who's at the bottom side of the map is on the top side of the scoreboard. So these kind of games are incredibly confusing to cast. Because we do use the production tab a lot. Let's see if our double Oracle can get something. Stalkers are busy dealing with the Adept. Here comes the Mauer, baby. Justice. The range from above. That is 6 workers. Make it 7. Make it 8. Oh. 8 workers and both Oracles are still alive. Now, did you guys say that it's a wrap? The moment he killed that first probe, I knew. I am willing to go on the record and say that I've never ever seen ShoWTimE lose a game when he kills a probe that quickly. It's a great start here on this lovely, I think we can call it a Super Sunday, right? America playoffs later tonight. I think they are going to be sick. I'm generally very excited. As we are looking at this PvP and things are slowing down a little. Chat, do you want to give me your predictions for Scarlet versus Australia? I think that's a banger. Like an absolute banger best of 5 lower bracket final. It's really tough to call. Thank you, Speed Racer, for the 44 and Pandemonium with the 111 months tier 3. Absolute legend. That's so sweet. Thank you. I believe that NA will always start at 8 PM my time. So that is in exactly 6 hours from now. Europe comes first. It's going to be Spirit Clem in 2 hours. Winner plays Grand Finals against Max Specs. Once that is done, I believe they wait until 8 PM. Or 2 PM on the East Coast. 11 AM on the West Coast. And that's when Scarlet Australia happens. Isn't that insane, Reynor? Yeah. I have a couple of absolute legends that may not be Twitch memers. They don't spam 24/7, but they are very big supporters of me and the channel. I appreciate you guys very much. I could definitely not do it without you. What are we looking at, guys? ShoWTimE is gearing up for his first serious poke of the game. Fighting up a ramp is a bit tricky. Sentry does not have any energy for a Guardian Shield though, and the numbers look pretty good. D-Mauer is obviously, or was off to a great start. Jieshi shield battery is about to come online, but it's not totally done yet. He's still forced to leave Stalkers in the main, in the natural, to deal with those oracles. ShoWTimE is absolutely cooking in game 1. There's no such thing as a perfect game of Starcraft 2, but this one, guys, is pretty close. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give D-Mauer a solid 9.4 for his performance so far. A 9.2 for every single Stalker he loses. He loses 0.2 on his grade. We're now looking at a potential 9. D-Mauer. What are your parents going to think, mate? Only a 9? I feel like I have a lot of things, Reynor, but not that big of an ego. Unless I'm just hanging out with the boys, kicking it off stream, couple drinks in, then the ego comes out. I'll admit it. But if I'm just here on a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon, I'm just a humble, sweet, hard-working man. Jieshi is doing his absolute best to stabilize, but I think ShoWTimE just has a bit too much. Does end up losing the oracles. Jieshi is counting down the seconds until he at least can get his hands on +1. Actually, those Zealots are making a difference. Jieshi is battling. ShoWTimE wipes in 4 more Stalkers. Maybe we can blink forward. I think we can blink forward and kill some of those low HP Stalkers. He doesn't want to do it. I felt like that was an okay moment to blink forward. That's a great hold, to be fair. With how bad of a start this was for Jieshi, it's actually a really good hold. Now, I still think Jieshi is in all sorts of trouble. He's down in workers. He's down in Stalkers. But impressive. Gotta give it to him. ShoWTimE is not a part of BASILISK, but this season we have teamed up together with ShoWTimE since Serral is obviously busy. He's fulfilling his mandatory military service. So we had the choice. Either we send in Roddy or we team up with a different orc. And we decided to team up with Big, or in this case just ShoWTimE specifically, since Big obviously only has 1 player. It's fun for us. We love playing with ShoWTimE. He's an incredibly nice guy. He's a great player. And I think it's cool for everyone, because finally we get to see D-Mauer in WTL Code S. As Jieshi, his Zealots are pushing him back a little. ShoWTimE is bleeding out a decent amount of units. Game 1 is played on US West. And I don't want to say that I'm starting to get nervous, but this game is not quite the walk in the park that I thought it was going to be. But just because we have teamed up with ShoWTimE, I want to get this clear on the record one last time. That does not mean that you guys won't see Serral in WTL Code S. You guys will see the great Jonas Sutala play some games. And it might actually happen sooner rather than later, so. ShoWTimE is a Merc. If you want to call teaming up with a different player a Merc, then sure. That's what it is, I guess. So when does ShoWTimE get recruited to BASILISK? I think he's very happy with Big, and we are happy that he's happy. He's not able to play in WTL Code S as a one-man team. And by working with us, he is able to play. I'm going to have to pull off a good hold here, guys. Like, I think it's a doable hold, but don't forget that Game 1 is always played on US West. And US West means that Jieshi should have a bit of a better ping. Actually, maybe against Chinese players, it's always US West. It's not going to be easy for ShoWTimE to have perfect micro here. He uses battery overcharge, but Jieshi does a good job in gunning it down immediately. D-Mauer, though, does have units coming in from different angles, has the immediate reinforcements, can blink back to some batteries at the gold. I want to say ShoWTimE is fine here. It wasn't super easy, but I think we're going to be fine, especially if those extra units from the main base start participating in the fight. It is definitely a close battle. That +2 is helping out a little bit for Jieshi. ShoWTimE has lost some of those units on the north side of our screen. We really need a few more gateway units here, guys. I want to say, I think we're going to be fine. I really hope we're fine. That Warp Prism with Jieshi get a bit closer. Forward blink is very scary, because Jieshi has warped in a few extra Zealots. Uh-oh. ShoWTimE is 10 seconds away from having +2. He's got that gold. He should be able to warp in for days. Jieshi, by the way, has spent some of his money on an Immortal, and I'm kind of happy about that. Because it takes a long time before that Immortal actually participates in the fight. ShoWTimE holds, but he is in a lot of trouble as the War Prism is now shifted, has gone into the main. Mauer is starting to run very low on units. Battery overcharge has bought some time, but we have lost 8 probes. It's unbelievable. But Jieshi, our Chinese Protoss, without a single hotkey, is starting to break ShoWTimE here after what felt like was an absolutely disastrous start. And I joked that I've never seen ShoWTimE lose a game where he killed the first probe at minute 2. I guess there is a first for everything. Man, that is a rough start. I can't believe it. I really felt that ShoWTimE was a forward blink away in the bottom left side from one-shotting a whole bunch of Stalkers of Jieshi and getting the job done. He decided to play it safe, just went home even though he had more HP on his Stalkers, he had a few more units. Maybe it was a difficult call for ShoWTimE to make, but yeah, we're actually in a bit of trouble. It's not game over, but ShoWTimE is absolutely in trouble. We have a few force fields going down. Jieshi makes a positional blink towards the top side. There is that one Immortal. It would be awesome to at least activate the barrier. This is going better, by the way, for ShoWTimE at first. Maybe we can get a few more Zealots. If ShoWTimE can just get his hands on like 6 or 7 Zealots to show up, that could be good. We activate one of the barriers. Does not go for a forward blink. Down 6 workers. As Jieshi is going up to 5 bases. I like the battery overcharge. I would love to see Jieshi actually take this fight for a little while. ShoWTimE makes a defensive blink. What a banger. An absolute banger of a first game and a heroic effort by Jieshi. Had a damn bad start. I mean, I'm hurting. It's not the outcome I want. It's not the result I want. It's not the game that I want. But I am incredibly impressed as a Starcraft 2 fan that Jieshi was able to turn this into the game that we are currently looking at after losing 9 probes to Oracles. I mean, Jieshi did take 2 big fights with an upgrade advantage. He had +1 against 0-0, and then eventually he had +2 against +1, and he just did a really good job. ShoWTimE flanks the War Prism. That's actually kind of cool. Oh, I love that. Whew. Okay, I love that. If I was Jieshi, I would not continue attacking, but I am not Jieshi. And he says, I don't even need that War Prism, mate. I'm gonna go without the Prism. Kind of believe that ShoWTimE can now pull off a great hold. Wouldn't really hate Coco's 27th overcharge of the game here, by the way. That is a big Zealot warp in. Here comes that battery overcharge. We need to go for it now. Now we really need to punish Jieshi for still being here. First Immortal goes down. Second Immortal should go down, but it takes a very long time. We lost so many units. ShoWTimE desperately needs another big warp in, and he will be able to get it. This is an epic game. Thank the Lord that Jieshi is floating 1.7k minerals. Imagine if that man had 17 extra Zealots here, but maybe even without those 17 Zealots, Jieshi is casually breaking. ShoWTimE here blinks forward. We have some batteries there. Maybe we can turn this around, but it's starting to look dire. ShoWTime's supply is plummeting. And it's Dragon KaiZi Gaming Jieshi who takes the 1-0 lead as he kisses a blue probe, I believe it was. Damn. That is a confusing game. That is odd. Well done by Jieshi. Gotta give it to him. Sad for ShoWTimE. I honestly felt if ShoWTimE would have just gone for it at the third at one point after they battled for so long, I think he would have been able to break him there. Take a look at his Reynor. Don't let it get to you, mate. Kudos to Jieshi for turning it around. Incredibly bad start. It's really hard when you're playing Blink against Blink, and your opponent also has 2 Oracles. So I'm impressed by the performance, and I'm very unhappy with the result. You know this guy? That's fine. I mean, I took a look at his chat history, and his chat history is a bit weird. Not quite so weird that I want to get him out of here, but... Welcome to the streamer life, Reynor. Those are questions that I ask myself incredibly often. Is this person trying to be funny, or is he just a dick? It's a fine line, you know, but... Alright, game 2. We are going to battle on side Delta. In the bottom right side, once more spawning at the top side of the scoreboard. An impressive turnaround in game 1. Dragon KaiZi Gaming Jieshi. In the top left side, representing BASILISK and ShoWTimE. It's ShoWTimE. Come on, Mauer. What if Mauer is just our new 50-50 guy. What if the 50-50 arc of Reynor is in the past, and Reynor is gonna go 2-0 every single freaking playday, and now that ShoWTimE has joined our forces, he has taken over Reynor's old role of going 50-50. You pulled the Reynor last night? Oh, mate. Outdoor or indoor? Is this live or recorded? You see, Jigatal Dipson is also a special one for me, Reynor. Jigatal Dipson has been here since 2010. Well, let's say 2012. That's when I started streaming. He watches me approximately 24 hours a day. He has truly never, ever, ever, ever been here with me casting games that already happened or watching some VODs casually at 1x speed. And then he hits me with the, is this live? Yes, it is live, Jigatal Dipson. It happens to be live very often on this channel. And if anybody should know that, I feel like it's you. There will be one series, the third series of this Clan War, that is not live, but it is played like yesterday, or it's played within the last 24 hours or 48 hours, and I don't know the outcome of the games. The reason why that series is not live is obviously this is a big day for Trigger. It's final day of the American regionals, so we don't want to bother him by having him play at, what's his local time, guys? If we start at 2, be 8 a.m. Like, we're not going to ask Trigger to be here at 8 a.m. to play games in WTL when he has a big grand finals coming up at 8 p.m. That would just be incredibly silly. So Trigger has already played before, but I don't know what happened in the games. And I don't want to know. Stairs seem to be your biggest enemy, Reynor. Gotta slow your roll a little, mate. You're still young, Reynor. You've got all the time in the world. Next time you go up or down a stairs, think of these wise words, that you're still a young man and you've got all the time in the world. And it really makes no difference if you're 2 seconds quicker or slower down that stairs. You'll be fine. Take good care of yourself. Scares are dangerous. ShoWTimE making a Void Ray here. Why is he making a Void Ray, guys? Why is our man the Mauer? I think he can cancel that, right? Ah, then again, that's a lot of gates. I'd still say maybe cancel. We can activate Pulsar Beam here in the middle of all these bases. Ah! ShoWTimE shakes his head and lets go of a deep breath. He knows that was not quite the Oracle play that he's looking for. In his defense, he is playing on probably US West. Playing from Europe on the US West server is not easy. If this is on the European server, I can guarantee you that ShoWTimE micros that a lot better. Playing with ping is hard. It is indeed not good micro, but we can't be too harsh on players when they have misclicks, when they're playing with like 160 ping. It's just, that's not what you practice. That's not the ideal Starcraft 2 experience. It is what it is. Kind of like this though. Let's hope it's not just the Zealot that activates the stasis trap. It is just the Zealot that activates the stasis trap. Jieshi really wants that Void Ray, does not get it. Good save at least on the Void by ShoWTimE, but we still made a Void Ray to now only kill a single Stalker, and our Oracle is not getting anything done. Last game we were loving the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game. This time around I am not in love with it, but the longer the game goes, the maybe more playable it becomes. It's not terrible for ShoWTimE, it's just not that hot. Jieshi is going to have a much quicker blink, it's going to go up to 3 bases a bit quicker. The Chinese Protoss is ahead here. Yeah, when you play Europe against China, they make you play on US West. If you play against Koreans, they do 1 game on West, 1 game on Central. But if you play versus Chinese players, they put you on West on both times. I guess the ping from China to US West is slightly worse than what the Koreans have, whatever it is. It is difficult. Jieshi is going to fire up charge once more. There's a good chance that ShoWTimE is going to stay just on pure blink a little while longer. I feel like if you didn't like your early game, if you're just in a bit of an uncomfortable spot, it doesn't make too much sense to go for Zealots early on, because you're most likely going to be the defender. And if you want to defend, Stalkers and Batteries are actually incredibly good against a combination of Stalkers and Zealots. So ShoWTimE is, however, moving out. I think he's just trying to get some information, figuring what's up, what kind of position are we in. Jieshi has been investing a lot in stuff like a 4th base, a lot of extra gateways that will all come into play a little while later. It's not quite here yet. So the numbers, when it comes to battle units, actually favor ShoWTimE a tiny bit at this point. Jieshi is getting 3 cannons, and ShoWTimE does fire up charge now, and he fires up 4 more gateways. He's got the Robo coming online as well in the natural. It is important to have a Robo. I don't know if... Is that Oracle still alive, guys? I feel like it is, right? It's flying around on the top side, yeah. It's dropping a stasis trap here right now. So we at least have some detection. But it's nice to not completely rely on a single Oracle in an 8-9 minute PvP where there is always a chance your opponent has invested in a Dark Shrine. It's not there yet. ShoWTimE doesn't know that. Just like in the first game, Jieshi is a bit ahead in upgrades, and he was actually able to get a lot of value out of those upgrades. We don't talk about upgrades as much in PvP as we do in a matchup like TVT or even in ZVZ when it comes down to the roaches, but it does obviously make a difference. Especially in the Blink Stalker battles, it is incredibly nice if you have an upgrade lead. ShoWTimE needs to be careful here. I don't really like that ShoWTimE is here. We can hold, but we're going to have to just defend properly. ShoWTimE is down a couple workers. Does still have that Oracle. Jieshi has just warped in a cannon. ShoWTimE knows about the cannon. Just letting that Oracle appear on the minimap there for a split second forced Jieshi to warp in some units at home. It's actually kind of nice. Every unit that's not with this army is going to make it more doable for D-Mauer and Basilisk plus ShoWTimE to hold. I have faith, because this is where ShoWTimE shines the most. We didn't name him D-Mauer for no reason, as he guns down the Observer, has a stasis trap here on the left. I kind of believe that we can hold this, guys. It's not going to be easy. And Jieshi is going to have that upgrade advantage. Stasis trappy for the ages. Boom. Take that. Yes. Great stasis trap. Even if we can't capitalize on it, it's just nice, because this is buying time. And the more time that ShoWTimE has, the more likely it is that he's going to be fine. Jieshi still just casually runs in there. 2 batteries. I think it's a really good fight for ShoWTimE. Jieshi could be in some trouble now. The stasis trap has ran out, so he's got a couple of extra units coming in from the bottom, but this was an excellent start to the big fight for ShoWTimE, as we are getting closer and closer to having +2 ourselves. That Void Ray is putting in some work. And there are a lot of Zealots falling on the side of ShoWTimE. This is where we could really use our own +2. We are getting closer. There is that Warp Prism sitting pretty in the back. And Jieshi's got a far superior concave. ShoWTimE needs to make some space for his own Zealots to come through. It started off so promising, guys. Now we have a battery overcharge in the back, and we're going to have to go back to that battery. Finally, ShoWTime's got his own +2. Is that then good enough to turn the tide of this battle? It started promising. The middle of the fight didn't go that well. Maybe the end will go great, because battery overcharge is amazing. I always believe in it. We could use another one. Coco, give me the multiple overcharge. Forward blink by Jieshi. Supplies were close, but ShoWTimE does not feel that he can hold. And the Chinese Protoss, fighting for DKZ, gets a very surprising 2-0 victory over the man who's been having a tough time so far in the WTL code. As these things happen. I still believe in D-Mauer. I know that he's going to be excellent for us. Yeah. And an incredibly happy Jieshi. Wonder Boy. 2-0 lead, guys, for DKZ. As we are going to get ready for Reynor versus Hero. That's a tough one. The second game started off really bad for ShoWTimE, but the first game started off fantastic. I think we should have won the first. The second one, like that can be difficult. 1%. Who are the 4 believers out there? I want to know. Mad face, layup. Not stupid with the biggest return ever. 100 points just got turned into Lord knows how many. That too is Starcraft. Jieshi 2-0. Impressive performance by him. Sad for us. That's not what we were looking for, but hey, we gotta give some respect to a great performance, and that was incredibly well done.